Hi, I'm Chris Michael with this week's 4 for 4 Sports News. Before we get to this week's rundown, a quick shout out to the Allen-Dieruff community. They're having their big rivalry game this weekend. I hope everyone goes out and sees it. It's more than just a football game. The choir's there, the dance team's there. It's a real community event, so come on out and support Allen and Dieruff. By the way, I'm going to make a prediction and talk about Allen beating Dieruff in that game. I think the Canaries got a big win a couple weeks ago. Dieruff has had some tough losses of late, so I'm going to pick the Allen Canaries this weekend. Now don't worry, our ace editor and cameraman Mike Kingsley, who is a proud Dieruff alum and former Husky athlete, will not take any repercussions or try to make me look bad just because I'm picking the Allen Canaries to beat his Dieruff Huskies this weekend. He won't do anything bad to me. He's a true professional. Now this week's number one story. I'm a little surprised how many people are going Negadelphia on Carson Wentz all of a sudden. He had a couple subpar games after a spectacular start to his NFL career, but let's keep things in perspective. A couple months ago, he was a kid coming out of a Division I AA school. No one expected him to be the number one quarterback with the Eagles, especially to start the year, and no one could have predicted what a great start he did have against some quality opponents. Let's give Carson Wentz a break. Let's cut him some slack this year and not get so critical or negative of him. He's going to be a great quarterback. You don't want to start messing with his head and talk about how horrible he's been after a couple bad games. He's probably going to have a few more bad games coming up down the road, and no one expected the Eagles to even make the playoffs this year. So let's give him a bit of a honeymoon period, back off the negativity, and let him have a solid first year. Point 2. Who will win the big Parkland-Emmaus football game this Friday? Well, Emmaus has had a great run, and I think will continue to have a great season as well. But as far as this Friday's game, I got to go with Parkland. I think the Trojans have had a little lighter schedule the last few weeks. They've been tweaking and making some adjustments with their offense, which I think will challenge the Hornets defensively, and Parkland has more players that have big game experience. So for this Friday, I'm going to go with Parkland. Now, I'm not ready to hand the district title over to the Trojans, not by any means, because I think it's very possible Emmaus and Parkland could face off against each other in the district playoffs in a few weeks. If that would happen, I think it's very possible Emmaus could return the favor. But as far as this Friday, I'm going to stick with the Trojans. Point 3. The Phillies had a great 2016 rebuilding year, but clearly more needs to be done in order for this team to make the playoffs. One aspect of the game has already gotten underway, and that the team is searching for a new hitting coach. I'll give my thoughts on which players should return, which players won't be back for next year, and who should be on the opening day roster for 2017. You might be surprised at a few of my suggestions. You can check it out for yourself at the SportsTalk Shop at rcn.com/RCN-TV. And finally, what the hell? Don't forget to join us on this week's RCN SportsTalk show presented by The Morning Call. We'll preview this weekend's Georgetown-Lafayette football game. We'll also talk Phillies, Flyers, and Phantoms with beat writer Stephen Gross. And we'll break down all the different high school football playoff scenarios when I'll be joined by Morning Call senior sports writer and proud Dieruff alum Keith Groller. And you can also catch the show online in addition to seeing it live on RCN TV, live this Thursday at 7 p.m. Until next time, I'm Chris Michael.